Clara paused by the window, her eyes drifting to the horizon where the sun dipped below the line of rooftops. Her heart raced with anticipation as she glanced at her phone, the screen illuminating with a message from Daniel, the man who had rekindled a fire she thought long extinguished.
"I've been thinking about you all day,"
Daniel murmured, his eyes locking onto hers, a charming smile playing on his lips.
"I can't stop thinking about us,"
Clara confessed, her voice trembling with a mixture of excitement and guilt. She was entranced by the thrill of it all, oblivious to the camera concealed in Daniel's jacket, capturing every stolen moment. Mark sighed heavily, running a hand through his hair. He wanted to believe in Clara's innocence, but the late nights and whispered phone calls had planted a seed of suspicion that he couldn't ignore. Mark watched in disbelief, his hands trembling. The betrayal was laid bare before him, shattering the picture of the life they had built together. Tears blurred his vision as he realized the extent of Clara's deceit.
"How could you do this to us?"
Mark demanded, his voice breaking as he held up his phone, the damning evidence displayed. Clara stood frozen, tears streaming down her face as the magnitude of her actions came crashing down.
"I never wanted to hurt you,"
she whispered, but the words felt hollow even to her. The house felt empty, devoid of the warmth and laughter that once filled its rooms. Clara stared at her reflection in the mirror, seeing a stranger staring back. Daniel was gone, leaving behind only the wreckage of her choices. She was left to face a future stripped of trust and love, a solitary figure amidst the ruins.
Ella Morgan, a woman of grace and elegance, sat on the porch, idly watching the world go by. Her heart ached with a longing for something more than the mundane routine of her life. The distant hum of a sports car approaching signaled the arrival of someone who would soon shatter her world. Victor Lang pulled up in his sleek black car, stepping out with an air of confidence that made heads turn. His charm was undeniable, his presence magnetic.
"Ella, I've been thinking about you,"
he said, his voice smooth and enticing. Ella found herself drawn to Victor's world of excitement and danger. The thrill of being desired by someone so enigmatic was intoxicating. Victor leaned in, his eyes holding hers with a promise of adventure.
"Imagine the life you could have with me, Ella,"
he whispered, his words a tantalizing lure.
"I shouldn't be here,"
she replied, yet her heart raced with the thrill of the forbidden. Ella sat nervously across from Victor, who was now more than just her lover. He had become a puppeteer, pulling her strings with calculated precision.
"I need you to do something for me,"
he said, his eyes cold and calculating. Ella, caught in his web, nodded reluctantly. She knew she was betraying her husband, but the fear of losing Victor was greater than her guilt. Ella finally confessed to her husband, James Morgan, her voice trembling with desperation.
"I thought I loved him, but it was a mistake. Please forgive me,"
she pleaded. James, his face a mask of pain, shook his head.
"I can't, Ella. You've broken us,"
he said, his voice heavy with resignation. Victor, true to his nature, had unleashed their secrets to the world. The recordings of their clandestine meetings were now public, leaving Ella exposed and vulnerable. She wandered aimlessly, the whispers of strangers echoing in her ears. Ella sat alone, the weight of her decisions pressing down on her. The realization of her mistakes was suffocating. She had lost everything: her husband, her lover, her dignity. Her future was as uncertain as the shadows that enveloped her.
"How did it come to this?"
she whispered to herself, the silence offering no answers.
In the heart of this vibrant city, Alex and Sam stood side by side, staring up at the sign of their newly opened business, Innovate Tech. Dreams that began in a college dorm room had finally materialized into a thriving technology firm. "Sam, we've done it, Alex, just like we always said we would," he said, his voice filled with pride. Alex nodded, a smile on his face that masked the growing shadow within his heart. Sam was in his element, his charismatic leadership drawing admiration from everyone. Alex watched from a distance, his chest tightening with an unfamiliar sting of envy as he saw Sam. "You all are doing amazing work. Let's keep this momentum going." The applause that followed was a bitter reminder to Alex of how his friend's star shone brighter than his own. Alex sat alone, his mind racing as he executed his plan to embezzle funds. His fingers flew over the keyboard, transferring money to a hidden account while crafting a trail that pointed to an unsuspecting employee.
This is the only way.
He whispered to himself, trying to drown out the guilt that gnawed at his conscience. Alex could no longer trust the friendly faces around him. His eyes darted nervously as he passed clusters of chatting employees. Sam remained oblivious, his trust in Alex unwavering.
"I know you didn't do it. We'll find the real culprit,"
he had assured the accused employee, further twisting the knife in Alex's heart. Sam sat across from Alex, a stack of financial records laid out before him.
"Alex, I found something."
He said softly, disbelief coloring his tone. Alex's heart pounded in his chest as he realized his secrets had been uncovered.
"I had no choice, Sam. You left me no choice."
He burst out, anger and desperation spilling over. Sam walked through the empty halls of Innovatech, memories of laughter and shared dreams echoing in his mind. Alex had been arrested, and the business they had built together was in ruins. Sam. How did it come to this? He whispered to himself, the weight of betrayal heavy on his shoulders as he faced an uncertain future.